Hi, I'm Diane McGarry with Dracut Arts. With me today, our co-host, Tom McGarry, January Arts Event painter, Victoria Voner, and ASL interpreter, Shelley. For Victoria, the feeling of being encompassed by a wooded forest or a calming ocean affects her emotional well-being in a way nothing else does, creating work that presents how she experiences nature emotionally with vivid colors, bold brushstrokes, and intentional design, gives the viewer a new appreciation of our world in global crisis. Recently, the goal with her art has been to bring the viewer into a different world. She lets the work speak to her through the creative process and lets her inner voice intertwine with a piece in front of her. Currently, she works as a graphic designer with engineers and physicists at a laboratory during the day and lets her creativity flow on canvas by night. Her artwork has been showcased in area shows and galleries, including the Whistler Museum and now Dracut Arts. Victoria, when you say the work speaks to you, what do you mean by that?
So as I'm working, I try to let, the piece guide me in whatever direction I want it to go in. A lot of times I'm not really sure where I want it to go, so it just hangs around for months. But sometimes I feel inspired to push myself, and it's usually like I have a certain challenge every piece I do just to help push myself forward a little more every time, you know.
So you work with oils or acrylics?
Acrylic.
And you do you use palettes or brushes, or how do you
It
put it?
depends. Usually brush, but I've been getting more into palette knife recently.
And
Um,
that has a different effect, right? Could you describe that effect?
yeah, it's more. It's very like textural, and I try to give it almost like a. I try to evoke like emotion with the palette strokes and globs. It's very it can be like globby, but it's really more.
So it's 3D.
It is definitely more 3D, so
It,
it's
it comes
always
off,
better to see in person. Doesn't It's hard to capture actually
so it
digitally.
comes off the page at you, off the canvas at you.
Yeah. Even the paint, sometimes I build it up in layers, so it is always a little textural.
Huh.
The painting behind you, it looks very textured, but which technique did you use? And talk about that a little bit.
This one was with just a brush. But yeah, I'm trying to capture like the energy and like atmospheric effect with texture. Um, I love texture, so I've been trying to get more and more into that. Whoop.
Ah,
There it is.
That's from so this is from my sister's photograph too. She's a photographer. And she does kind of see nature the same way I do. So I like using her photographs.
Uh-huh.
She's into color the same way. She saw this in person and she was like, this is like actually what it looked like. I wasn't even there,
hmm.
but I used her photograph and she's like, this is what I was trying to do in the photograph. And I couldn't because it's not as easily manipulative.
Hmm.
So, she took a photograph and then you painted it.
Yeah. For this one I did. It's different every painting, but
Do you often use photographs to paint?
only recently. Um, but I go back and forth. Sometimes it's from my imagination, sometimes it's from life. Sometimes I do drawings from life, and then I do paintings from those, um, which I've kind of enjoyed that process because it kind of separates it another layer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do you draw with pencil or charcoal or?
Actually, markers.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
I have Tombow markers that I just carry around with me when I go hiking or you know day trips and stuff.
is that a small fine point marker or what?
The kind I've meddled with many different brands, and this is the one. It's like a dual tip, so it has like a fine tip and a
Huh. Well,
semi-fine, like a regular tip.
earlier you mentioned that you work during the day, or that you mentioned in an introduction that you work during the day with engineers and scientists as a graphic designer, and then later you get to do, what you really want to do. But do you find does that drain any of your creative energy, or is it so technical that it's just a whole different thing that doesn't drain your creativity at all?
It does at moments because I work in a vault all day. But that's why it's like I need an outlet, and this is why I like to express myself with paint when I get home, because it's just, and then I'll do day trips, and then I'll be like, okay, I want to paint that now.
Okay.
What types of day trips do you do? Because we actually met on a trail.
Oh yeah, in Dracut, yeah.
Yes.
I go there a lot, the Dunlap Sanctuary. I go there a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's like 5 minutes away from my condo. But yeah, my sister lives in the Berkshires, so I go there a lot in the weekends, and do hiking out there. And I like the ocean too, so sometimes there's also ocean paintings.
Huh. Well, we have a collection of your paintings here that we can share as well. So can you tell us a little bit about the one with the pillars?
Oh yeah, that was that's at Chantilly Gardens in the Berkshires. It's in, I forget, Kingsborough? No, Tyringham. I actually, that's just like a little hike too, and I drew there. So that one's one that I did from a drawing that I did, and a photograph I took. So it was kind of like, I remember that day very vividly, so I wanted to paint it.
It's a beautiful fall day. Is that a sunset coming in?
Yeah, it's like the end of the day. It was really crisp and cold that day, but like my hands were numb when I was drawing. I was like, it's too nice. I don't want to go inside.
Aw. And then across from that, you have this beautiful sunrise, it looks like.
Yeah, that one is from my imagination, actually. I did that during the lockdown last year. When I was just like, I just want like, a brighter, I just want to look at something pretty.
Well, it looks like the world, you did that. It looks like the world is waking up with all this blossoming.
Yeah, it was like just hoping for like a brighter future, and, trying to be hopeful when I was painting that.
Yeah. And I liked your lily pads, but you don't have any frogs.
No. There wasn't any frogs when I was, that was from Dunlap, actually. I was like taking photos and drawing the lily pads. I'm like, I need to make a painting of this. And this just kind of came from
There
all
are
my
so
studies.
many lily pads there.
Yeah, there really is.
It's really beautiful.
And it kind of rained too that day. I'm like, this is would be so cool to try to capture.
Yeah. That's very
And that was one of my challenges for that one. It was like trying to capture raindrops and water. Not the easiest.
No,
Yeah.
it isn't. And underneath you have a scene for us.
Yep, that's my sister's view from her house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like the first snowfall in the fall, it was just so pretty. I was there then. I took that photo and I painted from it because that was just like a very short window that it was like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that you have the seasons overlapping with the vibrant fall leaves and
Yeah.
then the snow coming. Even if it's there for a minute, it's saying, I'll get back to you.
Yeah. And just to treasure those like short moments.
Sure. And what's very gripping to me is your stream here. The water is so incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I love that one. That one was from a drawing of my sister's photograph, and then I didn't look at her photograph, and then I painted the drawing. So like this one, I think that's how I captured the energy more.
Right.
It's just because I wasn't, looking at the realism of it. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? Like in person, this is pretty big, so the brushstrokes are actually huge.
So you like to take a painting and pull it out of the reality.
Yeah. Yeah, and like kind of the feeling of what it's like there is what I always am trying to capture. And like to bring the viewer like a sense of calm.
Mm.
not sure how calm that is for me. The waterfall it's a very strong waterfall. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
flooding, but it's
Yeah.
very powerful.
Well, I'm trying to capture movement too.
Oh, definitely a lot of
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah, that one I was definitely trying to get movement. Because that's what a waterfall feels like when you're there. It's like
Yeah,
intense a little bit.
that's definitely true. So, how did you start painting?
My father taught me when I was really young.
Oh,
Um, and I always have painted as a hobby, but you know, when I got into college, I'm like, I just need something to help pay the bills. So that's why I like wanted to get design under my belt. So I did that. And so I shifted to painting like the last 5 years or so. To like, because I it's really my true passion. So that's why I'm getting more into it now.
Do you do plein air at all, or you?
I do, yeah. I do plein air. It's been kind of hard to get outside this year, but the weather's been so shitty. Sorry, I didn't mean to say swear.
okay.
Well, between the heat and the rain, it has been very prohibitive. That's
Yeah, I haven't been out as much this year, but yeah, I do like especially like going to the ocean to paint, because that is hard to capture in a photograph at all, you know. Especially the movement. It's like it just flattens it immediately when you take a picture of it.
yeah. It's
Do you have a name for the style that you paint? Like it's not, you're mentioning the feeling, so it's kind of impressionist-like, but
Yeah,
not quite, I guess.
yeah. I'm trying to do like a different take on Impressionism. I love Impressionism, but yeah, that's probably the genre, I guess.
it's neat that you use markers to capture the elements along with a photograph, and then combine the energy of those two with your acrylics.
Yeah,
That's a very nice
I've enjoyed that process, because when I'm painting, sometimes I'm like, okay, I like know this inside and out now, so I don't even have to think about it too much. It just becomes more like almost secondary, like what I'm doing.
So your dad taught you how to paint, not just do artwork and draw, but he taught you how to use acrylics and things.
Yeah, he taught me oil at first.
Oh, wow.
I never liked oil. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm too impatient.
Huh.
I just don't like waiting for it to dry. Like if I want to like keep going, I want to be able to keep going, you know?
I never really thought about that. See, I don't know how to paint. I've only done watercolors.
Yeah.
That
I
can
used
be
to
a
do
lot of
watercolors,
patience.
but I use watercolors like acrylic. So that's why I'm like, why am I using watercolors?
Huh.
I did them very opaquely when I was in high school, because that's like all we had.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All the pictures we've seen just now are essentially scenes from nature, right? Do you do anything else like, I don't know, portraits or, I don't know, still lifes or other things?
I do florals, and I do some abstract, and I'm meddling with figurative again, but I've only done a few.
Hmm.
But I'm still trying to keep them all like nature related
Hmm.
in some way.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I'm into crystals too. I like using crystals for meditation and like inspiration. I did one with Chrysocolla. I did a painting like that's a figure, but I kind of just started it just textural, like of the crystal, and then it kind of just appeared when I was painting, and it, I just kind of went with it, and it ended up, I didn't even plan on it being a figure, and it just kind of turned into that. So
That's kind of
yeah,
neat.
I'm trying to just approach paintings different ways, I guess.
So you use this to balance your work with the physicists and the
Yeah,
engineers.
the left brainers. I also like my job because I do get to talk to left brainers, because they're very interesting people. And it's hard to communicate, but it's like I find it challenging. So I enjoy that. And just to get out of my studio sometimes.
Well, you're actually talking to a left and right brainer here, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more the engineer. Diane is definitely the artist.
Yeah. That works.
yeah. But there's a richness in both fields that we can bring together, which is very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. I know a lot of
Creativity.
engineers too have creative outlets, and they like, I have some friends that I've made who support me a lot at shows and stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is your favorite way to work?
What do you mean? Exactly.
How do you choose what you're going to paint? And how do you set yourself up to bring the image forward?
um, so a lot of it is just inspired um, by obviously nature, but I guess if an image like is in my head and it just keeps coming back, I'm just like, okay, I think I need to paint this and get it out, you know. Um, or if I'm thinking of something and I'm like, that's going to be really hard, and I think that will push me, so I should try it. Um, or sometimes it's just like I just start painting and I'm just like, I just start putting forms and colors on the painting and see what happens. Um, but I always jam to music. I like having music on.
Well, what kind of music do you like?
I like I like folky. I like anything acoustic or um stuff like that's calming but uplifting. I like a lot of I just went to Green Day last week. That was pretty awesome. I like Green Day, Guster. Uh I like lots of different music. Bluegrass.
Hmm. It's very eclectic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on my mood, I guess.
Well, that's for all of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
For different styles of painting, different visual art.
Yeah, and sometimes like if I'm like listening to jazz, it spurs a painting on just listening to it, you know.
Are there any painters that you particularly like, either current ones or the old masters or whatever?
Well, I like all the Impressionists, but I just actually bought a painting today from
Huh?
Bethany Peck. She's one of my favorites because I love her abstract oceanscapes.
Huh.
Um, and she kind of paints on copper, which I love. I've been
Wow.
thinking about doing that too. And I love Angela Ellis. I can't remember how to say her last name, but her stuff is really figurative and abstract and like kind of deep, which I love. Um, I've been thinking of how I could transfer into that a little bit too.
Cool.
I just bought something of hers too, but yeah, I'm just trying to be inspired by more and more local and trying to, build a group of friends and tribe that inspire me.
How do you paint on copper?
She she like glues it, like adheres it to the board and then layers like oil on top of, like texturally on top of it, but leaves it showing through.
Hmm.
It's really cool.
I bet. Because I
Yeah.
think of enamels on copper.
Yeah.
Different too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. I've been thinking. I would like to try to do that at some point too. One step at a time. I'm just trying to get good at like one thing, which is so hard for me.
Well, it's hard for all of us.
Yeah. I have so many hobbies. It's like
What are
I
some
like
of
to
your
sing
other?
too and dance. I like anything in the arts really. So
So you sing and dance and paint?
yeah, I sing and dance and paint.
That's neat.
Not all at once,
Same
but
time.
sometimes, yeah, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in the Reading Community Singers. I haven't been like recently because of COVID, but there's like 100 people in that group, so
Wow.
that's
Wow.
been a little.
That's
They're supposed to get together in the fall, and I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah, we were
But
all.
I do love singing with a group.
Yeah, the group carries you. There's this energy that carries you forward.
Yeah, it's like another therapy for me.
Mm.
But you don't use art as a therapy.
Of course I do.
Wow, that was quick. Say more about that.
Sure. Yeah, no, I like, that's the main reason why I do it more often now, because I've realized my mental health has taken too much of a backseat
Mm.
most of my life, and now it's like, okay, I need to like focus and figure my stuff out, and, and painting like just helps so many ways with that.
How does that? How does painting
It just
help?
helps me focus and like and be more introspective about what like I want to really be doing.
Mm.
That's neat. I never really thought about it like that.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
it helps
very.
so much. It helps a lot. Yeah.
Well,
Anxiety. It just helps with anxiety, period, for me.
from what you said, uh, being out in nature is very nourishing, but painting is also very nourishing for you. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, minus my tendonitis that
Oh no.
Oh no!
I think that's from last year. Like I just painted a little too much.
Oh wow.
Oops. Yeah, being stuck working from home with not a lot to do was made painting more of an upfront, and I didn't realize the damage until like the end of the year.
Oh no.
And I was like, so now I'm going through PT and stuff, but last year I didn't think that was important,
Huh.
But I'm like, yeah, it's my right hand. I kind of need it.
No, I thought you were going to say you had the time space to do the painting because you were home.
Yeah, I did have, that, I mean, we had so much time, and a lot of people were just stuck in a funk. And for some reason, I was going through a lot of like, I was awakening to a lot of things about myself. So, I actually was the opposite. I couldn't stop painting. It was like, it was like an addiction almost.
That's great.
But yeah, that's why my hands look messed up. It's all right. I'll take care of it now. And then I had my first art solo exhibition this past month, so that was exciting.
Oh, nice. Where was that?
At the Art All Gallery in Lowell.
Wow.
So I was supposed to have it last year, but with everything going on, I just didn't think it made any sense. So I was like, let's push it off till next year, And that kind of worked out, so I could have a reception, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
It makes it. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was my goal last year, so I was determined to get it done.
What's your goal for this year?
Just to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marketing, I've been really trying to market myself more because I hate social media, but with everything going on, I know that's just the way things have been going with art, especially. So
Well,
I'm
sure.
trying to get better at it.
That's why all of our things are online now. But,
Yeah, that's great.
well, thank you so much, Victoria. We've really enjoyed talking to you and
Yeah.
looking at some of your work.
Thank you.
Victoria is our visual artist for Dracut Art's January Art Gallery. Register through Eventbrite to join us online Saturday, January 22nd from 1:30 to 2 and then again from 3 to 4 when our art gallery will feature her works. For more information, go to dracutarts.com or email us at dracutarts@gmail.com. Our programs are also available through the Dracut Arts YouTube channel.
Yay.